Welcome. This is Lori Jones of Simple Serenity. Today we're going to be experiencing a mindful eating exercise called the Raisin experience. The purpose of this experience, of this mindfulness experience, is to become aware of each bite that we take and to demystify the idea that meditation is something complex, hard to do, that we don't know how to do it, we don't know enough. It couldn't be further from the truth that we do know enough, and we can start with eating 2 raisins mindfully and learn from this experience. So if you don't already have 2 raisins in your hand, feel free to take a few moments and go get a couple of them, or if you don't have any raisins in the house and you're listening to this recording just kind of at whim, feel free to grab 2 of anything. Maybe cut a prune in half, grab a couple of cranberries, even 2 apple slices would work just fine. Something small that you can hold in each hand, and come back when you're ready. I'll be right here waiting for you. Welcome back. So, sitting in a chair or on a couch, someplace comfortable, kind of settle in, feeling your body against the support of the chair or the couch, whatever you've chosen. Feet flat on the floor, spine straight yet comfortable. And begin by simply looking at the 2 raisins, and know whatever you have when you hear raisins that I'm also speaking to whatever fruit or objects you might have that you're going to taste. So beginning by looking at these 2 raisins, one at a time. First looking at the one in the left hand. Let's start there. Noticing the raisin in the right hand as well. Are they the same size? Are they different? Most likely they aren't quite the same. And the 2 raisins I have, the one in my left hand is quite a bit smaller. The one in the right's a little bit fatter, takes up more space, I can feel it more. So noticing the 2 pieces of fruit, dried fruit or apple slices that you have. And noticing these for the very first time, as if you've never seen them before. So play a little game with your imagination and just stop for a moment, maybe even just close the eyes for a second and open them, pretending like maybe you're from someplace far beyond and you've never seen raisins or what you have in your life. Then look. What do they look like to you? Do you notice a wrinkling? Are there smoother parts than others? This is interesting. A little piece of the one I have in my right hand is just broken off, so maybe they even change as we look at them and examine them a little bit. Taking a moment to put the raisin, maybe both of them, up to your nose and taking a sniff. Noticing, is it kind of musty smelling, sweet a little bit? Or if you have some other fruit or some other choice that you've made, what does this smell like, the scent of this particular item? It's okay to feel silly. We're going to even get sillier. Taking these 2 objects and putting them up near the ear and maybe just pressing them a little bit or rolling them around between your thumb and forefinger, seeing if there's any sound at all. Noticing maybe a little crinkling, or maybe just the sound of an object being near hair or near skin. Feeling free to kind of move the raisins back and forth in your fingers and notice what kind of sound they make. If you have something else, notice that sound. And then, one raisin at a time, put the first raisin in your mouth. I'll go ahead and do this with you. But don't swallow. In fact, don't chew. If you started, don't worry. Just stop for a moment and see what the mouth wants to do with an object of food in it. Do you notice any saliva happening, or does the feel inside of your mouth change? Is there a tanginess or a little sourness, sweetness maybe? And then gently chew the raisin, noticing what happens with that first chew, and it releases a little bit of what it is. Is there more saliva? Maybe not. It's all about noticing. Noticing as well if there's a tendency to want to put the second raisin in your mouth right away, simply because it's here. Again, perfectly normal. So, mindfully deciding when you want to put the second raisin in your mouth. Simply a matter of choice, maybe right now. And when you're ready to do so, go ahead and put it in your mouth. And again, suspend just for a moment chewing. Any feelings in the mouth and the jaw. And then let the teeth bear down on the raisin a little bit. Notice the impulse to swallow. Maybe you've swallowed already. I have. I didn't even think about it. So let's think about it now in terms of awareness. Is there an urge to swallow because there's something in the mouth? And finishing chewing your raisins very mindfully. Really slowing down to do this. Maybe taking several swallows to get both the raisins swallowed, chewed up first and swallowed. And taking a moment once the raisins have been chewed and swallowed and they're on their way down into the stomach. Simply noticing how the body feels. Is there any sense of having just eaten 2 raisins, other than what we know, or what we think we know? Some people report an actual sense of having 2 raisins in their bodies. Let's see what's true for you. And noticing as we've done this simple raisin eating exercise, did thoughts wander? Are they wandering right now? If so, simply escort awareness back to this moment. And what about emotions? Any feelings? Certainly sensations involving food. What else was your experience? And visiting thoughts again. Thoughts include opinions and judgments. So my hunch is there are a few of you at least who thought this was very silly. Why are we eating 2 raisins so slowly? Others may have thought about who grows these. How far away did they originate, the raisins, and what were they like before they dried? There might even have been thoughts about how did they get to where I live? The store or the co-op or the farmer's market or whatever place you might have purchased these raisins, if you did purchase them. Just feeling free to notice the thoughts, notice opinions, and also notice the possibility of shifting opinions. What if this were a learning experience and not something silly? What if it were a chance to see how quickly many of us in this country want to eat something before we've even finished chewing the first thing that's in our mouth? It's a little raisin, true. What if it were a bite full of food and there was another bite on the plate, or maybe in the fork ready to come in the mouth before the first bite was chewed completely? So, with all of these possible thoughts and learning experiences, one thing I believe is true is in our country, many of us will use food at one time or another, if not habitually, to cover emotions or make boredom go away. Or there'll be some reason other than hunger or an enjoyment of a meal, socially or perhaps alone, some other reason that we're eating. And doing something as simple as a mindfulness raisin eating exercise can help bring focus and awareness to how often we might be eating for other reasons. And I believe this can be very helpful. I hope you find it helpful too. So maybe this evening or at your next meal, experiment with eating mindfully. One bite, chewed well, fork down, and then the next bite, chewed well. And see what happens, see what your experience is. I invite you to give it a try. Bon appetit.